The next speaker, please, Jair Santanna, who's a PhD student at the Design and Analysis of Communication Systems Group at the University of Twente in the Netherlands, which is actually a great collaboration between various projects and institutions and universities in Europe. I think that makes it really interesting. Jair received an MSc in Computer Science from Brazil, and he's now talking about something that's called booters, distributed denial of service attack as a service. And you'll learn all about how easy it is to run these attacks, I think.
Thank you. Hello? 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 Yeah. Can you hear me? So today I'll talk about booters. Yeah. I changed the title for the service with the dollar. Yeah, because the point that I want to stand here is how easy it is to do that, who will do that, and why. Yeah. So I was thinking which message I want to give to you, because actually this presentation is a summary of 3.5 years of research. So I'm finished my PhD, and now I can answer all your questions about booters. In theory, I can. Okay, so the first question is usually, who do you think can perform one attack? And if you ask for an audience, the audience will say a hacker, a computer scientist, someone that is skilled, someone that is able to program some things, do some coding, or even the skiddies, able to download a program and press the button, right? And I want to say that maybe you know nothing. Anyone can perform a DDoS attack. But why I'm saying that anyone, and Jessica said that kids can perform attacks and so on. So I went to Brazil, and I was explaining my research to my mother. Yeah, I open a browser, type on Google, booter, show, create my account, and said, you know, if I press here, the internet is down. And then she said, okay, I understand that. Yeah, and then I went to my room, and suddenly, whoo, the internet was gone. Yeah. And then I went back and I said, what are you doing there? And then she said, I just pressed the button. Okay. So if you go to Google and type booter or stressor, you find hundreds of thousands of websites. Right? Yeah. So what are they? Yeah. So I want to show all the picture for you. We have, in one side, the user, or the client. The middle is the booter, and the other side is the target. What we know as specialists is that between the booter and the target, we have the infrastructure. That can be normal machines, can be compromised machines, like a botnet, or can be servers. Open DNS servers, Czech. Servers in the internet that we misuse to perform attacks, reflect, and amplify. But we also know that in the booter environment, we have the payment system. Yeah? Because the booter, the client, to perform attacks or to buy the product, needs to send some money to the booter owner. The other element that we have is something a little bit unusual. That is a DDoS protection service. Because think with me, if you are a booter owner and you are in a market that everyone is attacking each other, the first one that you want to protect is your service. So these guys, they subscribe for the DDoS protection service, like Cloudflare. Do you know Cloudflare? Okay, I'll talk about later. But also, as a service, they have a database, yeah? And I'm showing all these elements because I, as a researcher or as a security specialist, will look or will try to take a look on each element and try to shut down. So imagine that if you are a security specialist and you have access to the database has the account of the clients, how much they pay, which IP address, email, PayPal account, who they attack, which type of attack, how long. If you are in my position, you want this database. I will show it to you. Okay, so what I did was to paint that picture And I keep looking to that picture because I want to shut down or I want to understand. And today I want to show to you everything about that picture. The first one, I wrote a definition of all the picture, but this is boring. The second one is the most interesting one. So if I want to understand something and I know that you want to know something, it's about the attacks. So what I did, I have two nice elements right in the corner. The angel and the devil. And why? It's because if you want to discover how big or how powerful is the attack, what do? Yes, you perform attack against yourself. So what I did, I pretend to be a customer and ask router owners to attack my infrastructure. Yeah? And then I can measure everything, discover everything, and use that information against them. Okay, so I paid 14 routers, and you see that I cross 5 routers because I paid something and they deliver nothing. Okay? The first column there is how much they offer at that moment. Some routers offer something like 25, 3 gigs, 6 gigs, and some others didn't advertise something. Now the picture is a little bit different, and I'll show lately. And there is the price. Wait, it's less than a beer for me. And lately I will say that if you pay for a plan, you can perform as many attacks as you want. It's like a Netflix, you know? You pay for a plan, and then you can watch as many movies as you want, one after the other, one after the other. What is the duration of the attacks? You know better than me, because you measure the attacks. So the attacks that you are seeing in your network, the 5, the 10 minutes attacks, that has the same pattern. 80% are coming from this guy. 8% is just a guess. But I can give more elements to prove that thing. But okay, let's show the peak there. So the peak for one router was 7.4 gigabits per second. I was disappointed because one of the routers promised 50 gigabits per second. And then I was thinking that the next day I will lose my job, yeah? But no, nothing happens. Okay. But then, okay, now I know a little bit about the attacks. I want to know a little bit about the profile of the customer, the client. But I can't discover or I can't investigate who are the clients. However, I discover Pastebin. Do you know Pastebin? Who has no idea what is Pastebin? Okay, so if you are a security specialist or anything else that you want to discover something new, please type pastebin.com, and there the hackers or anyone can share information about anything, okay? So when some hackers leak or hack some source code of something or database or passwords or whatever, they place there. And if you go to the search, to the Pastebin and type router database, you find a lot of database. And then you can analyze the clients, the payments. The accounts for Ashley Mason is also there. But it's another topic. So I analyze the customers. Yeah? So in the database, I have what I call the user, the customer, and the customer that is attacker. Yeah? The customer or the user is the guy that just opened and created an account on routers but didn't perform an attack. Yeah? The second one that is a customer is the one that I can see the payment record. Okay? So he created an account and did the payment record. And the other one, the customer attacker, is the one that I can see the attack record. But wait, if you think with me, users, customers, attackers, right? So definitely, the ones that paid is at least the same size of the attackers. You not paid and do not attack, right? But if you take a look on the customers, the one that paid, with the one that just attacked, that I don't have the record, there is a gap there. And then I talked with some booter owners in the hacker community, yeah? And I said, why there are some records missing there? And then they said, these records belong to us. Okay. So if you are a booter owner and you don't like someone, you can perform an attack, and after that you delete the record. Smart. Because when your database is leaked, I can see who are you. But okay. In the same paper, I also analyzed the price, yeah? And I was working with a student, and then he looked to how much they profit. And then they said, the student said, let's create a booter, because, man, this salary per month is really, really good. Okay? Now, if you want to become a booter owner, you just spend the amount of money to register your domain name. Because you can download the source code of a booter and you can run your booter. So this is the reason why booter is so popular. But wait, if there are some source code out there, it means that someone hacked and shared here. It means that you still have the same vulnerabilities that I can take a look. Okay. But then, I must analyze how many are they. Yeah? Because if you type on Google, you find hundreds of thousands. But how many indeed you can create an account, pay something, and perform an attack? And then I have that graph, the first one there. So I try to analyze the booter, and I try to analyze when the domain name was registered. Yeah? Because it's the start of the booter operation. And then I analyze when the booter was registered and when someone noticed the first time accessing a booter. What do you expect? First, a booter is created, and after that, you can see the first register or the first record of someone trying to access a booter, right? No. So what you can see there is the red stars, yeah? So the red stars on the right side, it means that someone see a record of a booter before the booter was registered. The answer is simple. Before, the booter or the website was a booter, but the domain name expires. He just renew and keep going with the booter. How do I know that before was a booter? Do you know Internet Archive? You can type on Google. Internet Archive, you can see pictures of websites that were online on the past. So you can see how was Google in 1999 or any other website a little bit before. I did exactly the same. I took a booter and analyzed before just to see if they were indeed a booter. But that information is the nicest one. This one is a price. Okay? I explain about Netflix, right? You pay for a plan, and then you can perform as many as you want, right? So the plan that they offer, they have a price and an expiration period, okay? So it means that one is 1 day. So for 1 day, you can pay, I don't know, from $1 until, I don't know, infinite, right? 100. So these are all booters. I just put all the spots there. And if you think, if I have something that I offer for 1 week, should be a little bit more expensive if I offer for 1 month, right? That is more expensive if I offer for 1 year, right? And so on and so forth. Okay, sometimes I have some discounts. But what you can see there is that when you choose an expiration plan for 62 months and 3 months, the price doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't vary anymore. Why? Yes, because the booter is not online all the time. So imagine that you pay for this guy, the outlier, the last line. It's not a mistake. They call lifetime. Yeah? So you can buy a plan that is a lifetime. Perform as much as you can. However, 6 months later, the booter is offline because the owner was prosecuted. So make no sense. And now the clients know, just buy a little bit before the average. 2 months, 3 months, sweet spot. And now I have the new picture of how much they advertise. Yeah? Let's look the outlier. The 2 outliers there. Pay attention to this XYZ, okay? This XYZ is the most popular. If you type booter on Google, should be the first or the second website that will appear there. But whatever. They advertise 300 gigabits per second. There are 2 booters that offer terabits per second. The question is, do they deliver? And the answer is, depends. Why? Because if someone decides to attack your company and send 300 gigabits per second, you get pissed, you call all the securities that you know, and then 1 week or 1 month later, they will find the guy or the group of guys. So, for booters, it's better if you can play under the radar. For this reason, you see a lot of 1 gigabit per second, 300 megabits per second. But when you have a campaign and look to your Twitter account and just put hashtag OP, operation, DDoS, whatever, ISIS. And then you can see a booter there, and you can see what they deliver is far more than 10, than 50, than 70 gigabits per second. Okay? No one cares. I care. Okay. Also, my question was, how popular are booters, right? So if they are there and no one cares about, I want to know how often or how popular are they? And do you know Alexa? Alexa.com? Alexa.com creates a rank of websites in the internet. There are 300 million registered websites now, around, roughly. Okay? And then if you analyze the first 30 top booters, you can see that these 30 are higher than 3 million. It means that 30 booters are between the first percent of most popular websites in the entire internet. Okay? The calculation is easy. This work was not mine, unfortunately. Yeah. So this guy said, okay, let's investigate the payment system, right? Because if I call PayPal and say, PayPal, please cut down this account, then the booter owner will not earn money, then he will not allow to perform attacks, right? Oh. What they did was exactly the same. So they investigate some booters, 23. They call PayPal and said, PayPal, now we want to shut down this booter. The account is whatever at gmail.com. Okay? So the credit card account is this, and that. And then PayPal did. And you see the drop there. And the drop is exactly when PayPal starts shutting down the accounts, and then the booters stop performing attacks because they couldn't sell to their customers. It worked. So after that I analyzed, 3 months later. And what you see is, indeed, booters stop using PayPal, and the coin starts going up. Okay? Of course it will happen. If you are a booter owner and you are earning money, very, very easy. What you do, you just change. You just adapt yourself. It's a market. Yeah? They can shut down Bitcoin. Just saying. Okay, but then there is another element in that picture that can play a role, of course. Because if these DDoS protection companies stop protecting booters, booters will be offline because they will attack each other, and we see this in the database, right? And then we can do something. That guy is, just forgot, but this is the CEO of Cloudflare. Cloudflare is the company that offers protection for a lot of websites in the internet. And the main difference of Arbor or any other big player is that they offer for free the entry, okay? The entry protection or the entry plan is for free, okay? And then that guy, the other guy, the black one, is Brian Krebs. Yeah, he's a security specialist from US. He always writes a lot about booters and so on and cool stuff. And then he went to Black Hat 2013, and he said, Cloudflare is really bad, you know, they protect booters, they know that they perform attacks, blah, 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 blah. And then the CEO was right there. And he said, can I say something? And then he came to the stage, and then he asked, why don't you prosecute, or why don't you shut down booters? And what he said was, for private companies, it's not our plan to prosecute anyone, you know? Prosecutors do their job, we do ours. Yeah? It will not happen. So I will love to write a paper shutting down booters from the DDoS protection service. It will not happen. They never answer my mail. Also, I always put the angel and the devil, right? Because if you stop for 1 second to think about all the elements of my research, you will notice that everything is in the borderline, what is ethical, what's not, what is legal, what's not, okay? So if you remember, I perform attack against myself. No, it was against the university, yeah? The university has 2 times 10 gigabits. Now it's 40, but before it was 10, yeah? And then I talk with the ethical advisors of the university. I talk with the prosecutors of the Dutch prosecutors. And now they wrote a statement that I can perform my measurements. Yeah? Actually, now I can perform from the Amsterdam Internet Exchange. So the traffic will not pass through the Netherlands. But I wrote this, and your question is, okay, Jay, you talk 15 minutes and your mitigation, yeah? You finish your PhD now. So the payment system, you know, will not work. And then what I did on the target level, that one, I measure a lot of attacks, and I notice that I have something unique. I have the fingerprinting of booter attacks. Do you want? I have. Let's work together. Good, right? So this is, I'm still developing that. So it's ddos-b.org, and I'm convincing companies how to filter the attack traffic and share openly to the community, and also to be used to mitigate or to stop attacks in advance. And this is the one, my final message for you. Yeah? So in the access level, preventing the user to contact booters, I developed a blacklist. So I crawl the entire internet, hacker forums, Google, YouTube, whatever, and then I just share with you here. I just checked the website, and it's unstable. I'm suffering a DDoS attack right now. But I will, if you want the database, you can just contact me. Okay. Final message, because Miriam is here. SurfNet is working with me. ChessNet started working since last week. From SurfNet, I have 1 year of data. What they do, they use the blacklist to see their customers that are accessing booters. It's just because they notice that every time that they see someone from a school network accessing a booter, possibly after 5 minutes the attack comes. And why a school network? Especially during the online exams. If the students want to prevent to have exams, they attack the infrastructure. And the first user, so this is a known, a hash, and that one is the number of access in a year. This is an outlier, is a Tor node. But the good news is that if you access a booter and try to perform one attack from a Tor node, they will not allow you to perform. So none of these ones were an actual attack. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jair. I think